Someone bumps into you at the coffee shop, and you immediately say sorry. A friend cancels their plans with you, and within seconds you are apologizing for the inconvenience of having existed in their calendar. Your boss sends a curt email, and you reply with apologies for a delay, even though you submitted the work exactly on time. You probably call this politeness. You might even take quiet pride in being the soft-spoken person who diffuses a room before anything goes wrong. But that reflex is an ingrained survival pattern, and someone trained it into you a long time ago. This diagram maps out our biological threat responses. You are likely familiar with the big three: fight, flight, and freeze. But therapists who work with survivors of long-term childhood mistreatment have identified a fourth option: the fawn response, the appease, the reflex where, instead of running or hitting back, a person leans toward the threat and tries to make it like them. Smile faster. Be smaller. Apologize first. Older trauma research documented this exact behavior across mammals. When a smaller animal cannot escape from a stronger one, evolution wires in a specific display to keep it alive. The weaker animal makes itself non-threatening. It lowers its eyes, drops its shoulders, and signals physical submission to the alpha. Humans have our own version of that exact same physical display. When we sense friction, we hunch our shoulders slightly, our breathing quickens, we offer a smile a half-second too fast, and the word sorry slips out of our mouths before a conflict even starts. It is the human equivalent of a verbal belly-up, which brings us to a strange paradox. If appeasement is a biological defense mechanism designed to survive an apex predator, what exact threat is your nervous system responding to in a brightly lit conference room? Picture a 7-year-old boy sitting at a kitchen table doing his math homework. His mother walks in, slams a cabinet, and announces her day is ruined because nobody respects her time. The boy hasn't done anything wrong, but the air changes. That child is caught in a biological trap. A 7-year-old lacks the physical size to fight back against a towering adult. They also lack the geographical ability to pack a bag and move out. Fleeing and fighting are simply off the table. When the adult in the room is unpredictable, the child has exactly one tool left: appease. Get there first. If the boy takes the blame before the accusation even lands, he gains something crucial. He controls the timeline of when the anger arrives. He says, "I'm sorry." He doesn't even know what he's apologizing for, but he knows that when he concedes fault early, sometimes the storm gets smaller. Sometimes the parent just sighs and walks away. Taking the blame becomes a reliable way to steer the storm and minimize the blast radius. Because this preemptive apology successfully keeps a vulnerable child physically and emotionally safe, the nervous system takes notes. It files this strategy under master survival tactics, permanently wiring it in for future use. Fast forward 21 years. That same boy is now a 28-year-old sitting in a meeting. His manager makes a comment about the quarterly numbers, and her tone is slightly cold because she had a frustrating commute in traffic. The air in the room changes, and a physiological time travel takes place. The adult body instantly fires off that old childhood apology reflex. Out comes, "Sorry, I'll look into it," or "Sorry, I should have caught that." Your nervous system has never been informed that you grew up. Psychologists call this defensive pessimism. Your nervous system acts like a hyper-vigilant actuary, expecting a bad outcome and trying to soften the blow in advance. You apologize to ensure against a disaster that isn't actually coming. A clinical case study documented a woman in her mid-30s whose therapist asked her to tally every time she said sorry over a single week. 7 days later, her notebook contained over 200 unnecessary apologies. Sorry for asking a question. Sorry for handing a cashier the wrong card. Her compulsive apology was a disguised relationship maintenance behavior. It was an anxious attachment reflex, a constant, exhausting way of checking in with the people around her, asking, "Are we still okay? Are we still okay?" Looking at that tally, the woman remembered her father, who used to keep a literal score of everything she did wrong. The tragedy of her notepad was that she was preparing daily defenses for a harsh parent who had not been in the room for decades. The modern adult body is exhausted. It leaks apologies all day, endlessly bracing for an impact from a storm that stopped being physically possible a long time ago. There is a heavy real-world cost to bringing a childhood survival strategy into your adult life. The outside world does not read your frequent apologies as an act of politeness. It reads them as a literal admission of guilt. This diagram illustrates the feedback loop you enter when you fawn. By handing people unearned faults, you inadvertently show them where to place the blame the next time something actually goes wrong. The chronic apologizer concedes fault in advance, carrying the emotional weight of every disagreement. The deeper cost happens quietly, in your own head. If you apologize for things that are not your fault often enough, your brain starts to accept the premise. You begin to assume that if someone in the room is unhappy, you caused it. You enter every interaction already conceding mental territory. The reflex that was perfectly designed to keep you safe at age 7 ends up making you the safest possible target at 28. Internet advice often tells you to simply toughen up or decide to never say sorry again. That doesn't work. You cannot out-decide a biological survival mechanism. You have to out-notice it. The first step is to catch the apology after it leaves your mouth, without shaming yourself for it. The second step is to ask yourself one simple internal diagnostic question. Did I actually cause this? The third step is the hardest. When the honest answer is no, you have to tolerate the small, ugly silence that opens up when you actively choose to withhold the apology. This will feel exactly like danger. Your nervous system will scream that something terrible is about to happen, and you will want to fill that empty air with a sorry. You have to learn, through physical repetition, that the danger isn't there. The room will go on existing. The silence is actually safe. That childhood reflex was a profound act of self-love. Your small self invented a strategy that kept you in one piece, and it worked. It got you here. But the job is over. The kitchen is empty. The cabinets have stopped slamming. You can thank the strategy, and then, gently, you can retire it.